So I was just told by Larissa that he was rumoured to have had a mental illness, but we don't know, it's inconclusive, and there's a rude Brazilian term that they say that they use for gossip, for fofoca. I said that a bit too loudly with a really British accent. They're really laughing at me now. And so yes, more later. Bye.
Mais naturais possível, né?
As we have locals in here, always remember that you are paying for my wage.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
And well, yeah, the house nowadays is 121 years old. As you must have seen, anno 1896 inside. That was the year of the opening, in December 31st, when I was living the peak of the rubber boom. And a lot of British people living in the city here. Actually, we followed the industrial boom at the time, mainly for producing cars, car boom productions in the United States and in Europe. Then we started importing this rubber from Brazil. We held the rubber production monopoly in the world. So Manaus and Belém, here in the north region of Brazil, were the main cities in the country, and well, given the proportion of them, the quite small ones, Manaus had about 25,000 people living here. We became extremely wealthy. And well, this monopoly status was because of the native rubber trees, the seringueiras, as we call in Portuguese, which they could only be found here in the Amazon rainforest. And the attempts of these rubber barons to take the seeds of the rubber trees and start growing them in Europe, for example, that were the first ones to try to do that. They couldn't manage to do it. Only many years later, like 30, 40 years later, they started growing up this in Sri Lanka and Malaysia. So that's when Manaus grew. And this happened about 1930.
Okay.
The rubber boom cycle, as we call here in Brazil, started in about 1870, 1875. That's when the investments started to be brought to Manaus. And well, Manaus became the Paris of the tropics. The mainstream culture of the time, the language, the outfits, everything was French. So we tried to copy this lifestyle in here, even though our population in here was major, mostly from England, from Scotland, from the UK, and from England. These were the main rubber barons here in the city, as they were known. French was the most spoken language in the city, even more than Portuguese itself, because all of the business were dealt in French, so that was a bit weird. And of course, everybody was dressed out with the French life, this French fashion, yes. And you can imagine how hot it was to live in the town, yeah? There you go. So the opera house was built in here to offer entertainment for this elite. 12 years to build the house, from 1884 to 1896, practically all imported. The only Brazilian material here are the woods, and all of the rest came from Europe. Portuguese marble, Leoz stone. We have Carrara marble from Italy. All of the chandeliers are bronze. They came from France. All of them are original. We have a cast iron here structure that is out of the house from Scotland. So they use the highest technology, the best engineering, and the finest materials. Money wasn't a problem. The problem was the logistics of bringing all of these materials. The trips Manaus, Europe, by steamships could last for about 4 months, up to 6, depending on the conditions and the period of the year. So that was quite complex. Good.
Yeah.
So once opened the house as an opera house, inspired by the Garnier Opera House mainly, So all of the great opera houses in Europe gave inspirations for this building layout and architecture. Here we are eclectic. We have neoclassic, baroque, and the Art Nouveau. That was actually the main thing at the time. And with the capacity for 701 seats only. The odd number stands for the governor's seat, 700 people and the governor. And the small capacity for such an opulent building outside was actually aimed to receive only the elite. So it was a huge social dispute to get a ticket in here, extremely expensive of course, or to be invited for private events. That was the main point. So I won't be speaking here about the visual details of the performance room. I'll leave this information when we visit the boxes upstairs. But well, getting back to the history in here, the house then had 4 refurbishment processes in 1929, 60, 74, and well, 1991 we had our last one. The house is extremely active. We have performances throughout the whole year. Every week we have performances and most of them are free of charge. I don't know if you knew that, but please come. Yes, we are paying for that. And that is the point actually. We have in here, we're eclectic and popular. We have music, dance, theater, samba performances. The White Stripes performed here in 2005. It was insane. And the Spice Girls also had a pocket showing. So yes, we are eclectic indeed.
Very.
Yeah, and that's the point actually, to attract different people. It was quite difficult attracting mainly local people to watch an opera. What's the point of an Amazonian person watching an opera? Someone crying their love misventure, disadventure. So that was not good enough.
And then, do you have community groups performing as well?
Yeah. Most part of the events in here are done by local artists. I mean, the orchestra in here, 60% of the orchestra, we have 16 musicians in the Philharmonic Orchestra. 60% of them are foreigners.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, because we recruited them during the 90s, so it was an interesting process. Very good. So we have 60-40, 40 Brazilians. And we have the dance group that is mostly Brazilians, like 99% of Brazilians. We have the choir group, all Brazilians. The Amazonas Jazz Band, the Acoustic Guitar Orchestra, all of these Brazilian ones.
So do your orchestral members go out into the community and work with actual community groups and schools and stuff?
Yeah, we have the arts. There's school in here named Liceu Cláudio Santoro, the Art Cláudio Santoro Lyceum, that's how we call it. We offer free classes of arts in general, dance, instruments, popular music, classical music, and things like this, acting as well included. And most part of the teachers are these guys, are the musicians themselves. Also, they are teachers in the universities in here, in the Federal University, and also the State of Amazonas University.
Brilliant, okay.
We have sub-orchestras. We have what we call the Amazonas Philharmonic Experimental Orchestra. High-level students of these teachers, they started being monitored and they start now performing here in the house.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And we have tours, small tours for like closed cities in country of the state of Amazonas, or actually just to different cities in different states, also in Brazil.
Do you have anything written down about these orchestras? Contact details? I'm a composer as well, but I work in communities as a composer. So it'd be great to maybe make some connections here.
All right, I could, getting the opportunity that actually the maestros are here, so I can actually introduce you to them.
Thank you.
Or at least get an email or something like this. Yes, I can give you at least the email of the director of these art groups. Yeah.
Fantastic, thank you.
Very good. So you're a composer yourself? That's
I am,
interesting.
yes.
Okay, what's your instrument? Piano?
Clarinet.
Clarinet.
Yeah,
Lovely. Good. All right. It's monarchy and Brazilian Republic, and this dome was added to the original project to represent this political rival and this big event that we had in the country.
Yeah.
Definitely it was the most controversial change in the project in here. The traditional families in the city hated it, deemed it, said that it was bizarre, that it was not proportional, to receive these weight. No, it didn't design. He ordered it. It was a French artist. I'm sorry, but I don't know the name.
Ok. A ideia foi dele, mas ele vai não.
Okay, but I can get the name of the artist if you read it. Yeah. But he was a man, you see, the story tells the following. Eduardo Ribeiro, he was an enthusiast of engineering, of course. And he was traveling in Turkey. He visited a dome fair. And he was enchanted by the idea of having a dome on a building, and he was actually with this building in his hand, and he brought the idea. The rubber barons that were actually financing, donating all of the money to build the house, said, okay, why not? Let's have a dome.
Let's spend some more money.
Yeah. You see, they were not much concerned. This was a club for them. Nothing much more than that. I didn't, let's leave a legacy of our culture, let's establish in here a British community. No. They just arrived in here, brought electricity. Manaus was the first capital of the city to have electricity, yes, in Brazil. This was the first theater to be opened with electricity, and it was huge at the time. Yeah. So they implemented all of these modern technologies. The urbanization was just perfect, a very controlled society, safe, modern, with all of the best for them to consume and to live. Of course, the climate they couldn't control, so that was the only perk of living in one house. And the fine opera house. Okay, why not having a national symbol on the top of a national opera house? So that was the point. They didn't oppose it. So who opposed were local people. Yes, and that's it.
Oh wow.
So here we have some of these tiles detail. The ceramic of these tiles came from the region of the mountains of Alsace between France and Germany, and also famous for wine, yes? So that's the level of pickiness.
Yes.
Yes, they have chosen everything for the finest. Another interesting detail is, as you were a musician, acoustic isolation was something that didn't exist in here, as we didn't have any ventilation, doors and windows open all the time. During the performances, this wooden wheel carriages passing by the house, they started interfering. So the first acoustic solution was to cover all of the surroundings in here with these rubber-based cobblestones. So they added rubber for the formula when producing the cobblestones.
Oh, fantastic.
In 1974, only many years later,
Yeah.
we received the air conditioning system,
Yeah.
closed doors, and the acoustic isolation panels that we are going to see upstairs.
Okay.
Festival season. Here we show you some details of the pictures, videos, the models, and some of the props as well. Everything produced locally. We generally involve about 1,000 people working. Well, the curiosity about these models is that these marked the first time in Brazil that the full Mingalus cycle was performed.
Wow, wow.
And it was here in Manaus.
Wow.
No touching. And these were the models for the acts, yes?
Yes.
All of the 15 hours of the opera were performed.
Wow.
That was best.
Yeah.
It was a mark for us, and actually, we included Manaus as a spot for opera.
So, was the performance arranged along the lines of the Bayreuth Festival?
I'm sorry.
So, was the opera arranged along the lines of the Bayreuth Festival? Because in Bayreuth, they're the ones who kind of were the first to stage the ring cycle. And they used to split the ring cycle up in operas over 4 nights.
That's it. Yes, we split it. Yes, actually, we split it along the whole month.
Okay.
With some repeated performances, more than one session. There are like 3 operas. Like we have the Valkyrie, the Rheingold, and the
Gotterdammerung.
Rheingold. Siegfried, that's it. And Twilight of Gods.
Yeah.
Twilight of the Gods.
Yeah,
Actually 4 then.
Gotterdammerung, Siegfried, the Riding Valkyrie, and the Nibelung.
It's Siegfried and Twilight of the Gods again. So yeah, that was it. The most famous opera, Brazilian opera, is named O Guarani. Yes. Composed by Carlos Gomes, the father of the Brazilian opera. This is the most reputed name in this house. He actually was meant to open the house with O Guarani. You see, it would be just wonderful. But he died 2 months before the scheduled performance, and it was a tragedy, and we have lost. What's in here are a reference to the meeting of the rivers.
Oh yes, yeah. Yeah.
We have Acapu and Yellow Wood, both from the Amazon.
Okay. That's clever.
This is the best.
Yes.
Houses foyer, ballroom. Brazilian artists tripled in. Oh, they clean it.
Yeah.
So right in the middle we have the highlight, Mr. Carlos Gomes, the main opera composer.
Yeah.
And all the way to the right, the governor.
Oh. Ah, yes. Eduardo Ribeiro.
Thousand pieces of land.
Okay.
Huge toy.
Yeah.
Former color gray. You see, original color of the house was the pink itself that we see nowadays. Second color blue, 1929. Third color, 1974, gray. Military government in the country painted all of the public buildings gray, including the Opera House.
I see.
In 1990, we got back to the pink original
that
we maintain until nowadays. And we got the latest. Oh, pity.
Yeah. No, I think they're still in rehearsal. Just.
Yeah.
Oh. No, he's
Miles
finished.
for leaving.
He's
Yes.
leaving. Yeah.
That's it.
They're all packing away.
I think some of them are practicing because, yeah, that's not an easy piece.
No.
And yeah, that's the final opportunity playing tonight. So we have the base of the Eiffel Tower. This is the main interpretation of this element, the four big columns.
Yeah.
In between them, between the columns, just above us in here, we have reference to dance. Opposite that we have music.
Okay.
To the right we have treasure. So all of these three elements are opposite the stage, and these are the elements that compose operas. And opera, the fourth element and the main one, an Olympus structure, paradise with angels, and right in the middle a portrait of Carlos Gomez.
Okay.
Brazilian opera father, as we call him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, another interpretation are the four pillars of the arts with dance, music, tragedy, and opera.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second interpretation, most famous one.
Wow.
Main chandelier, 200 kilograms of pure bronze, French one.
Wow. Okay.
Original. TA above the stage,
Yeah.
standing for Teatro Amazonas in Portuguese. Amazon Theater in English.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Curious, we don't call it an opera house in Portuguese. We call it Teatro Amazonas. Yeah, Amazon Theater. Above it, once more, Eduardo Ribeiro.
Yeah.
Yes,
Ah, yes.
the master in here of our engineering.
Yeah.
Built the house and the governor of the state. Coat of arms. A tradition that we keep 12 seats on the reserved for the governor and his guests.
Okay.
One tradition that we didn't keep. Four special boxes, two on the right and two on the left side. They are just next to the stage, first and second floor. The special decoration, individual entrance. And well, these used to be the most expensive seats of the house, and nowadays they are the cheapest ones.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, they are the cheapest ones, generally free of charge, the worst position to watch the show. But first, people wanted to sit there to be seen by the audience, and that was a pretty much common thing in Europe. Yeah, very good. More details. We have this big drape curtain in here that we cannot see the painting itself, but well, the painting represents the end of the Portuguese monarchy in the country. We have a Portuguese monarchy symbol in the middle and red curtains from the right to the left closing. That's like the end of a show. Closing the red curtains. And opposite the stage, the governor's box.
Yeah. I see.
The shape of the performance room is a lion shape, so this room is pretty much a copy of the Garnier of our house. Lyre, string instrument, 22 strings. We have 22 hollow columns. They have a hole right in the middle, of course, for the cast iron expansion that they needed, but also for acoustics. Here, they vibrate with the acoustics of the house, also, of course, with the wooden floor, the wooden ceiling as well.
Yeah.
The ceiling is round, this is not just flat. So, this room is known to be an excellent
Acoustics. Yeah.
We don't have an official ranking, of course, for that, for housing, things like this, but well, we have a legend now. During the 90s in here, Pavarotti visited the house just to visit. He got everyone by surprising him. And he went to the stage, he just sang something, and he said, all right, so this is the second best acoustics in the world. The first one is Alla Scala in Milan, because it's his hometown, So, of course, all of the local guys got this, and they spread the word nowadays. So this is the second best acoustics in the world, but of course, I don't dare to do that because, well, we don't have a ranking.
No.
And that's it. So the room is small, the shape is for traditional opera house. We have the orchestra pit. The front part of the stage is a platform that goes down 2.5 meters and levels with it, And yes, no microphones. The speakers are there, but they're not turned on. You have felt some of the music on the corridors itself. You can feel it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a good place for acoustics. Okay, my name is Samir Torres. I'm from Manaus, Brazil. I play the electric bass and I play the tambourine, the Brazilian one. And I am law graduated. I am an English teacher, and I am a tourist guide in the Amazonas Opera House.
Brilliant. Could you just briefly just summarize some of the arts education work in the communities that happens here? So you've got that orchestra with the students.
Okay, in Manaus. In Manaus, we have our School of Arts, maintained by the State of Amazonas government, named Claudio Santoro Lyceum. Over there, we have free courses for the community of music, many instruments, classical, orchestra format ones. We have popular acoustic guitar orchestras, percussion, drums as well, dancing classes and acting classes as well, all of them in this School of Arts. So these, for example, we have the also maintained by the state, the Amazonas Philharmonic Orchestra, that holds most part of the teachers of this School of Arts. So that's how they have a connection with the community, teaching them in this School of Arts. Also, we have some short programs when some of these musicians go play for some communities around Manaus, or just go to them to have a workshop or something like this. Sometimes when we receive artists, Brazilian artists that are subsidized by this federal government, they play in here, and then they also deliver workshops in the city and in different cities of the state as well. And of course, our orchestra is referenced in the country, and it has national tours, so it travels around the country. We have some cultural exchanges. We bring some soloists to play in here. We send some soloists to play in there, mostly with some Asian countries such as Japan, Korea, and European ones such as Vienna, Italy, and France. That's mostly the ones that I have seen here.
So what are the opportunities for collaborating with UFAM and the social psychology department? So working with young people or communities to realize their identities in musical forms of the orchestra. Is that...
The question is about me. How could I get involved?
Yeah, and how would we get involved with UFAM as well? So you'd give us an email of...
Yes, I can give you the email of the director of the artistic groups of the State of Amazonas Cultural Secretary. And with this connection, we can start establishing this communication with UFAM as well, because we don't have this connection, at least so far, not that I'm aware of. Yeah. So we'd have to ask them. We would need this connection. Actually, UFAM music department has already worked in here. They have an orchestra. They have already performed in here as well. Yeah, so we do have this connection, but we don't have this social and like the psychology department involved in this. So this would be a pioneer program, but of course, very interesting one. And fields for working in here are just spread out all over the country. So not just in Manaus. Yeah. So of course, we have a lot of kids and communities in here that could get involved in that could get interested to actually do what you said, what you told me, that is to compose something with their identities. And of course, this would be also interesting because this house is a classical island in the middle of the rainforest.
Yeah.
But nowadays it is used as a more popular purpose for the city. And a program like this that mixes this classical current, if you could say that, with the popular and the regional identity, that would be just excellent. And my eyes are just shining because of this.
Brilliant.
This is just great.
Great. Thank you so very much.
Well, on the floor, a marquetry, 12,000 pieces of wood.
Wow. It's beautiful.
Painting on all of the walls, representing the rainforest, flora and fauna.
Ah.
Waiting for mirrors to create an infinite corridor.
Oh.
So to increase the depth of the room.
Yeah. That's clever.
One exception of paintings is that one, the biggest one.
Yes.
Shows us a scene of our opera. The protagonists are over there. It is a love story between a Guarani Indian man named Betty over there, and in the scene he's saving the Portuguese very rich one lady named Cecilia. We have the Brazilian version of Romeo and Juliet. That's how the critics in Italy named it when it was premiered in Italy. So, Impossible Love Story, and they don't die at the end. Spoiler for you. Happy ending.
Oh, brilliant.
It was originally a novel written by a Brazilian writer named José de Alencar. He's tributed just above that door.
Ah, okay.
Bust.
Yeah.
So all of the artists in here are Brazilian ones. We have writers, musicians, actors. Carlos Gomes included, of course, the main one. Just
Okay, let me just quickly grab it.
Opa, não pode fazer uma mesa, por favor. Pessoal, vocês estão com guia? Não? Vocês não podem passar, vocês têm que ficar com guia. Passa, deixa eu virar. Golden leaf on all of the golden details and on the arches and on the angels.
Yeah.
Out there. And painting on the ceiling is named Glorification of the Arts in the Amazon.
Okay.
It represents the arrival of the European arts just coming down from paradise, represented on the ceiling. You see, just up here we have gods representing architecture, painting, sculpture, dance, music, and theater that are the elements of the and the goddess Nike of the Greek mythology, represented by that lady with her arms open, yellow dress, perspective technique, and she's always staring at you.
Okay.
And if you look at her and if you walk along the corridor, she's going to move her head, she's going to follow her head. And the point is that the room itself represents the rainforest. We are surrounded by the scenarios of the forest, the trees that are gone. Each tree continues to go up. We have the ambushes with the angels connecting the forest with the paradise. We have the top of the trees on both sides of the painting as well. So we are immersed. Having a small peek at part of the heaven, the sky, and the fine arts coming down.
Oh, fantastic.
Quite meaningful.
Yeah.
The idea and actually the decoration itself was made by De Angelis. Domenico De Angelis was the Italian artist responsible for it.
Yeah. Oh, how beautiful.
A nice place for a party.
Yeah, definitely.
This was the door of the house, this area. We will be facing the Negro River from here. The stairs here gave access to the kitchen of the house, and that's how the food and drinks would come up and go for the parties of the ballroom.
Okay.
Social living at the time was very restricted. Yes, it didn't have voice, it didn't have opinions or decision-making power, nothing. So they mostly here of a very much masculine society and very controlled and extremely elitist one. The girls practically left the house during the evenings. That's when the climate was better, temperature was lower, and then they could show off with their fine dresses.